All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Avery Miller. I'll go ahead and give us just about 30 seconds here to let some additional people join us for this webinar, but thank you so much for joining. All right, so we will go ahead and get started. Once again, my name is Avery Miller, and on behalf of the National Catholic Colleges Admission Association, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us here tonight. You guys are attending the Finding the Right Fit presentation with a bunch of helpful kind of tricks and tips regarding finding the right college for you within the United States. So we hope we provide a lot of helpful information in regards to that. Please do keep in mind that this is a webinar style, so we cannot see or hear any of the people watching. But if you have any questions for us, please place them in the Q&A box you'll find at the bottom of your screen. We are eager to kind of answer some questions for you guys and also share some valuable information. So without further ado, we have presentations and presenters from Benedictine College, Merrimack College, St. Leo's University, Emmanuel College, and Marquette University. So I will go ahead and pass it off to Ian Sonia, and we will get this started. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Avery. Appreciate it. Hey there, everyone. My name's Ian Sonia. I'm the Director of Admissions at Emmanuel College. We're a small private Catholic liberal arts and sciences school right in the heart of Boston, Massachusetts. I'm really excited to be with you here tonight to talk a little bit more about finding the right fit. So we'll start with just talking a little bit about really a US overview. You know, the United States has so many different options for college, and sometimes it can feel daunting, especially when you're first starting out your college search process and, where do you even begin? So, I know some of you may be looking at US institutions, maybe some more local institutions in Latin America, maybe some over in Europe, even Southeast Asia, or South America. But the US system is somewhat unique from those other areas of the world. So we have tons and tons of different options across the entire United States. So over 4,000 different colleges and universities to choose from. And you might be asking, just as you kind of start, what is the difference between a college versus a university? And is there a difference? And, not really. Sometimes people have the common conception that universities, are highly research driven, have numerous graduate programs. But sometimes a lot of colleges have those same things. For instance, at Emmanuel, we're a very research driven institution. Although we don't have the university status of, some larger schools throughout the US. So when you're starting to look at colleges versus universities, it's important to look at, what sorts of different types are out there. The first would be your large research institutions and universities. So these are going to be larger flagship schools, things like University of Texas or University of Massachusetts, or some of your larger private research universities. So things, right around the Boston area, like Boston University or Northeastern University. Then you have your liberal arts colleges. Those might be, a little bit smaller institutions that are focused more so on the liberal arts, the social sciences, although many of the institutions that you're looking at may blend a little bit of a mix of both of those, especially throughout the country. I know in the Northeast where I'm based, there's a lot of liberal arts colleges, but more and more so over the years, we are offering more science programs as part of that liberal arts core experience that students will get. Then we have community colleges. These are most of the times 2-year institutions. So they allow you to get an associate's degree. Community colleges can be a great way to start off US education, especially if you're undecided. Some community colleges will offer sponsorship, most do. So it's a great way to be able to dive in to your experience, especially if you want a taste of the college experience, but don't want to go to a 4-year institution. Or depending on, your scope of schools that you're looking for, community college might be a good place to start before potentially transferring to a larger research university or a liberal arts institution. And then you will have some specialized colleges. So I know we're going to talk a little bit more about, the factors later on, but, there are many institutions that are a little bit more specialized. So for instance, just up in Boston, where we're located, we're part of a consortium of colleges called the College of the Fenway. So there's a couple institutions like Massachusetts College of Art and Design, Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, and Wentworth Institute of Technology. These are three very unique institutions that offer a specific area. So if you are looking for maybe a specific program or a specific major, you may want to dive in a little bit deeper to see what the specialization of the college is, especially if you're looking for things like art, engineering, nursing, some of those areas. Accreditation, different from some other countries, our accreditation is all based on a regional level. So for instance, the accrediting body that accredits Emmanuel may be different from what credits Gonzaga on the West Coast. So definitely pay attention to that and make sure that as you're going through the process, to ensure that your colleges have the accreditation that they require. Major versus minor. So at a US institution, a lot of times you're going to be committing to an academic major. Some schools you have to apply directly into a major, especially if you're looking for one of those specialized programs like an engineering or a finance, a business. Especially at the larger institutions, a lot of times you do need to apply directly into a program. Where some schools, you might be looking to apply more directly to the college, and you can decide later on. So if you're undecided, that's totally okay. And then minors wouldn't be your major focus at an institution, but more so something that you want to pick up as an addition to your overall coursework. So say maybe you want to take another foreign language like Japanese or French. You can do that. A lot of times you might take an art minor if you're a marketing major, maybe thinking about something like graphic design to go along with that. And then we have our pre-professional programs. So many of you online tonight might be thinking about a pre-law, a pre-med. You might want to go on for your MBA eventually, if you've had family members or friends do that in the past. So pre-professional programs would be more of a track at a university or college and not necessarily a major. So a lot of times if you are on pre-med, students may be thinking about a biology or a chemistry, or pre-law, maybe you're thinking about a history or philosophy or an English. But there's still a lot of resources on these track-centered programs that can really help you along your undergraduate career and also prepare you for graduate school post your bachelor's degree in the United States. So I will pass it off to Susan, I believe, who has the next slide.
Thank you, Ian. My name is Susan Whipple. I'm here at Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And together we're going to talk about some of the things that you can consider as you're contemplating which university is best for you. So many times this causes a lot of students to really feel overwhelmed. But maybe some of the things that are here on this slide will be helpful. I encourage you, go ahead and take a screenshot of it so that it's something that you can refer to. When you're thinking about choosing that right fit place for you, you really want to think about what's important to you. What do you want to experience from your college or university years? And also, what do you hope to gain as part of that? Not just the academic aspect, but also what are you hoping to do and participate in? So when we look at a number of these things to consider, they kind of help students start to think about what are some of those important factors. For some students, the items that are here are going to play a very important role. And for others, maybe not so important. Now, for example, size can be a really important factor because not everyone is going to thrive in a large setting. Some students will do much better in a smaller location where they really can get personal attention, make lots of connections, and also be able to, accomplish everything that they want to. And yet there might be students who are a little more independent, who really thrive in a larger setting where they themselves have to take initiative and to go out and to do and to learn what they want to accomplish. Also, where is it located? Is it close to family and friends, or do you want to be as far away and as independent as possible? Do you want weather that is going to be different than anything you've ever experienced? Or are you somebody who really doesn't want a lot of change? And so you're going to want to choose a weather location that is very similar to to branch out and to maybe go to a place where diversity and inclusion have a different definition of what you have experienced in your own school. So these are great opportunities and things to think about. Ian was talking a little bit about academics, major, minors, those are important to think about. But what if you change your major? Are you going to have other options open to you? And more important, what if you don't know yet what it is that you want to study? Are you going to be able to find a location that is going to help you explore different options and also support you and guide you through that process? Also, let's think about outside the classroom. What are going to be the opportunities available to you in terms of the co-curricular? What is life like on campus? Are you going to be in a large city, a smaller city, a rural location? What types of opportunities exist? You have an opportunity to really explore them. If you're somebody who enjoys athletics, do you want to be at an institution where athletics is a big part of the culture? If you're somebody who actively plays a sport now, are you going to seek out NAIA or NCAA institutions so that maybe a scholarship is part of your factors in choosing a university? What are those options? Are you good enough? Do you want to spend all of your time on athletics, or would you rather have athletics be something that is part of your experience and not your whole reason for being there? Cost, of course, is a very important factor. Have a conversation with your family about what is the budget that you're looking at. It may seem like a dream killer, but it's a very important part of the process. And it also helps prevent heartbreak because you're looking at institutions that are going to certainly be the best ones for you. And of course, you'll want to find out early on what kind of scholarships or aid are available from the university. And also very important, what kind of support is there for you as an international student, as a student who's coming from your country? What type of resources are there? Is there housing during breaks if you decide that you'll be remaining on campus during the summer or during a holiday? So hopefully you haven't found this too overwhelming, but instead great things to start thinking about and deciding which are important to you. And now I'm going to turn things over to Francisco, who's going to help you a little bit with how you can further research.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. So you were able to hear about all the things that you have to consider for next steps in regards to choosing the college of your choice. So the next step basically becomes getting access to all the information. So there are so many methods at gaining access to the information for the colleges and universities here in the United States. However, it is pretty important that you gain the most accurate and appropriate information when looking at different colleges here in the US. So one of the first places to look at would be the colleges or universities admission office website. Each college will want to make sure that you can access the information you need as easily as possible, regardless of your application, whether it's your first time applying into a college or whether or not you're transferring to the institution. You should be able to navigate the information of their websites pretty easily. So the other method would be the college search programs. They're also very helpful, really helpful tool to utilize to help you find out more about what each institution offer. So College Board, CIS website, or Naviance or sites that institutions can collaborate with to help you more information, to get a little bit more information. Take, for example, the Council of International School, or CIS for short. Here you have the opportunity to complete a university connection registry to help you connect with CIS member universities throughout the country who represent top-tier education institutions with an international perspective. So based on the information you provide, The CIS website, universities will contact you when they believe that they can provide you with a institution that's a good fit for you, that kind of fits with the parameters of what you're looking for in a university or college here in the United States. So even if you search on your own and you still have questions about the college or university that you're going to, it's always a good idea to go to your college career or a center at your school that can help you figure out what interests you may have or help you refocus on what areas maybe you're overlooking or searching for an institution that may be the right fit for you. So connecting with places like your college career center or places like the Education USA offices may even help you gain access to events that colleges or universities are putting on for students such as yourself when looking at colleges here in the United States. So some of those events can include college fairs where various universities and colleges are able to meet and present and help you learn a little bit more about what each school has to offer. Attending college fairs also gives you the opportunity to bring your questions directly to people who are a source of knowledge or a source of information from the schools themselves directly. So they potentially will have a representative of the institution located at those fairs. So universities and colleges also will assign admission counselors to students to be able to help them navigate the requirements for their particular school. So consider them as your own personal tour guide that will help you answer any questions that you may have throughout the college process as you explore potential schools to attend. Even if you can't find a piece of information that maybe you're struggling a little bit to find, the admission counselor is the best person to reach out to them as they may have information that you're looking for. So just always make sure to reach out to your assigned admission counselor. I haven't met an admission counselor yet who isn't happy at answering any questions that students may have. So please, I really encourage you to reach out to them as they're a really good source of information. Lastly, with social media, you want to make sure that you're getting the most accurate information from those social media platforms. So make sure that it is the universities or the college's official accounts. Schools typically provide the links of their website to their official social media pages. And so social media is helpful really to help us stay up to date on any current events that schools are involved in, as well as any events that the schools are having for students. Social media also allows potential students a glimpse of what the institution is accomplishing. Now, I say a glimpse because, like a personal social media account, not everything is getting recorded or put on an account at all times. But rather gives you the opportunity to see more or less the activities the school has going on throughout the year and stay connected with them. We really do encourage students to kind of engage and interact with our social media platforms. So colleges and universities want to make sure that you have access to the information, and using social media hopefully can give you some information that you may need to narrow down your school of choice. So speaking of the narrow down the school of choice, I'll pass it over to my colleague to kind of give you more information about narrowing down your school of choice.
All right, thank you, Francisco. I'll take over from here. My name is Mateus. I work with international admissions at St. Leo University. We're a college here in Florida, a Catholic university. And fun fact, I was actually an international student too. So when I started doing my search to come to school, it can be a little overwhelming. So there's usually so many different resources. And as you do your search, you're gonna find a lot of different schools that may spark your interest. So some tips for you guys to start narrowing down those options so you can focus on the applications for the schools that you are more inclined to, or that better fit your needs, of course. So one of the ways to start narrowing down is just weigh in the pros and cons. So see out of all of the different aspects of choosing a school. So when it comes to affordability, the location, the connections that you may be able to get in that certain location or that certain school. What are the pros and cons? It's usually unlikely or not that easy to find a school that will fit every single one of your needs or every single one of the things you're looking for. So try and balance out what would be the best choices between one and the other, so you can find that best fit there. So for example, students, I work with a lot of students that are coming from the Caribbean region, and a lot of the times they're used to the very warm weather all year round. So as you're looking for that school here in the United States, see if that's something that you're willing to move to a place that has cold weather like Alaska or something like that all year round. So it's always easy to start narrowing down those options based on what is most important out of the aspects that you're considering. So typically students tend to apply between 3 to 6 and up to 10 different colleges after they have graduated and are looking for the best fit. So I always tell my students that they should be applying for more than one option. There is a few different ways that you can separate the options that you're looking for, but one of the ways that tends to be very effective is you can distribute your likely schools, your target schools, and your reach schools. So what does that mean? So for your likely schools, those are usually schools that you're very strongly likely to be able to get accepted. So based on your academic profile, so based on your GPA and your test scores, more likely than not, you'll be able to get accepted into those schools. So you should at least have a couple of schools like that that you applied for so that you can explore. They might end up being the best fit that you can find when it comes to all the different aspects of doing your college search. You also want to do some of the target schools. So those target schools are the ones that are right on the money. So they fit your GPA and testing standards. So there's still a possibility that you may not be able to get accepted or you could get waitlisted. But that's a school that your academic profile fits in with very well. So those you should be applying to a few of those as well that would best fit your profile. And then there's also your reach schools. So those are institutions that are more commonly accepting students that have like a higher GPA or a higher test scoring, not necessarily something that it's out of your academic reach, but it's on top of your academic reach. So something that the acceptance GPA and test scores, if they're not a test optional school, if that's on the top of your range. So schools that you may or may not be able to get accepted. So definitely have that range of different schools that you may be able to or not able to get accepted. So that you can have different options if you're not able to get accepted into one of them, or if you do get accepted, then when you further your research, you can see that it's not something that is affordable for you, or if that's not something that would be you and your family would be able to afford for all 4 years or for the duration of the program. That's definitely something that you want to look at. And that comes to that third portion, what is, does this fit your personal reality? So out of all the different aspects of the college research, what schools are actually going to be a good fit for you? Not just, hey, I would love to go to this school. It's got the major I want. It's got the location I want. I'd love to live at this place, but I can't afford it at all. Like me and my family don't have the capability of affording those rates. So that's one big important factor, of course, especially amongst international students, including myself when I was doing my research. What schools are able to offer me those programs are the things that I would like to explore, but are also accessible for me. They fit my living conditions. I'm able to actually go to that school and explore, and my parents are able to take care of that process with me. So there's definitely a few different ways to narrow your choices when you're looking for colleges. So I believe when I first started, I think I had 20 to 30 different schools in my list. And as you start getting more and more information, you're able to narrow it down to what you actually would like to do. Like I said before, affordability is definitely a big portion of it. Opportunity, location. If you end up having family near the area, that's something that you feel more comfortable with. If it's based on the weather. So there's usually a combination of factors that students have to use when trying to make that big decision as to what school they'd like to go to. So narrowing your choice is very important so that you're not that overwhelmed and you're able to analyze all of the different aspects, strengths, and weaknesses of the schools that you're looking into so that you can make the correct choice, but that also you have a few different choices and not only focusing on one school only. So that's my advice for everyone. I'll pass it on from this point back to Avery to wrap up the presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you guys all for joining us for this Finding the Right Fit presentation. As you can see here on this final slide, there is all of our contact information and all of our universities are listed there. So once again, thank you guys so much on behalf of the National Catholic Colleges Admission Association. And we do hope you guys join us for the next presentation, which starts in about 5 to 10 minutes, which is financing education in the United States. So a few things we actually just talked about, it might be very helpful. And then the GPA game presentation, which is later on, it's a very fun one. So again, thank you all so much, and we really appreciate you joining us. Have a great evening.